Tebow. Repeat.
Lay out, zone 3. 1, 2, 3. Lay out.
Been waiting for this one.
It's about us. It's always been about us. By any means necessary. Just the minute. Let's go to the next level.
Prime time is our time.
Respect. It's earned. Respect ain't giving you no damn about it.
Welcome to NFL Primetime, presented by E-Trade.
Well, what did you do today? Hi, everybody, and welcome into NFL Primetime. Glad you were here with us. Trey, Wingo alongside Merrill, Hoge, and Trent, Dilfer. Divisional round of the playoffs. A lot of people think it's the best football weekend of the entire season, regular or post. And let's just say, today did not disappoint on a lot of levels. We had the late game Saturday night, Tim Tebow and company trying to keep the magic going as the Broncos went to New England. The Patriots took the field looking for their first playoff win in 4 years. They hadn't won a playoff game since the 2007 AFC title game that got them to Super Bowl 42. Well, we all know what happened there. The Giants spoiled the perfect season. That was exactly what they were feeling in New England. We got to win a playoff game. And they came out like it. Look at Aaron Hernandez, one of the tight ends that's so difficult in the passing game, so Bill Belichick puts him in the backfield for a gain of 43 yards. And before half the crowd at Gillette could get off the traffic on Route 1, they were in the end zone. Brady to Welker, score. 7-0, less than 2 minutes gone. Next Broncos possession, remember the problems, the turnovers they had the first time around against the Patriots? Rob Ninkovich, I turn you over. It's a fumble. Great job, Merrill, by Ninkovich.
Yeah, first of all, great job up front of not giving Tim Tebow an escape route. And then the elongated motion really cost him right here as Ninkovich is able to sack him and cause the fumble. Patriots
Get the ball, 2nd and 6. There's Aaron Hernandez again for 9 yards. He had the big game last time against the Broncos. 9 catches, $129, and then there is Gronkowski over the middle, uncoverable for 16. Later on the drive, 2nd and 3 from the 7. Gronk juggle. Unbelievable catch, Trent.
Well, the Patriots come out in this up-tempo offense, so efficient, executing such a high level, but then finishing off drives, none better than this catch by Gronk. Look at him bring it in, keep his big mitts underneath the ball as he hits the turf.
The play was reviewed. Fox says, what can we do? It's 14-0. Later in the first, Tebow to Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas gets it down to the Patriots 5. This was after a Tom Brady interception that really stalled the momentum. Later on this same drive, Willis McGahee, bam, touchdown. And just like that, Broncos down only a score, 14-7. Later in the second quarter, 3rd and 3, Brady, well, they couldn't stop him all night. Gronk score, Gronk spike.
Well, great job with a bunch package. You know, makes it difficult to double guys. And then when you get the matchup, especially size-wise, 6'6" against somebody who's about 5'10", favor Gronkowski on that one.
You're going to win that one a lot. Just over 2 minutes before the half. What a throw and what a professional move by Deion Branch to create a little separation, Trent.
This is an absolute laser down the rail by Tom Brady, but I love this move by Deion Branch. Look at this. He pushes off, but he does it low. I call that the Brandon Stokely hip push-off. Never gets called. Arms not extended. Creates the separation Tom Brady needs.
61 yards on the freaking laser. Now, here's the worst problem. The Broncos couldn't run out the clock, so they give the Patriots another chance to score, and it's Aaron Hernandez this time with the damage for 20 yards, and lather, rinse, repeat. Once, twice, 3 times Gronkowski, all in the first half alone.
Yeah, great job of getting him down the seam, and it doesn't matter who it is. If it's a linebacker or a safety, usually your matchup favors the New England Patriots.
5 touchdown passes in the first half. That's a postseason NFL record, and they weren't done.
Oh,
Hernandez,
what a great
go on in. I'm telling you, tight ends everywhere on this day.
Well, look at the personnel. It's a big grouping by the Patriots, yet it's play-action pass, get the middle of the field exposed, and Hernandez, the quick little move after the catch to get in the end zone.
6 touchdown pass of the game, ties the NFL record for a postseason game with the Mad Bomber Darryl LaMonica and our own Steve Young, who, of course, did it in the Super Bowl against the Chargers. And then Ninkovich again and Vince Wilfork taking down Tebow. The Broncos will be forced to punt. Later in the drive, Sean Ellis, oh, I missed him. But Tim Tebow runs around. He extends plays. So you can make plays like that. Sean Ellis bam, big sack coming down. And that was really the story of the offense. It was negative play after negative play.
Yeah, well, this offense is not extremely complicated. After seeing it twice, the Patriots had all kinds of answers. Shooting A-gap and their blitzes off the perimeter.
All right, move to the fourth quarter now. By the way, the starter's still in the game when it's 45-10 on 3rd and 10. Brady with the punt. Pretty good punt, by the way.
I was about to say, that ain't bad now.
Not bad at all. Takes a nice little roll. It's a 48-yarder down inside the 10, but then things get a little chippy. Well, punch there, not there. That was just a little joke with DJ Williams. Von Miller went and did some pushing and shoving. There was a flag called. Luckily, nothing escalated too bad for anybody on either side, but the Patriots in an absolute beatdown, 45-10. Brady, 363 passing yards, the 6 touchdowns, 5 in the first half, tied the record with the 6, 5 in the first half again, an NFL postseason record. Gronkowski, 10 grabs for a $145 and 3 touchdowns. Hernandez big in the running game and the receiving game. All in all, it was a very good night to beat Tom Brady.
It's all about winning. You're right. You lose a few playoff games, and it's a very bitter way to end the season, and it sits on your mind for quite a long time. So for us to come out and play the way we did, have a very solid performance in the most important game of the year is very gratifying. I think that we got 8 days to the biggest game of the year. So from this point on, everyone will be focused on what we need to do to be better next week, and hopefully come out and play for another championship.
We knew it was going to be up tempo and no huddle. Did you embrace that idea? Did you think, okay, this is good, it's going to play a lot of skills and down there?
Sure, that's important. I think we've shown we can do that. I think there's times where we have to slow it down a little bit and control the tempo of the game that way. But it's good to have versatility, and we have some versatility within our personnel groups also that I thought present some challenge for the defense. But that's a good team. That's a good defense, and to go out there and play the way we did, it was a fun day. Well, they have some pretty good pass rushers, some good cover guys. I thought we just executed well. That catch that Gronk made for a touchdown in the corners, one of the best catches I've ever seen. So when you're making plays like that, it's really not about the defense. It's about, making spectacular plays. So that was some great efforts. Aaron on the touchdown, catch and run. Wes really got us started. Gronk had some other pretty great touchdowns too. So it was a good day.
I believe I just said that. It was a very good day to beat Tom Brady. Again, ties single-game postseason record with 6 touchdown passes, 36 career postseason touchdown passes, 3rd most in NFL history. And with his first of 6 on the night, 18 straight postseason games with at least a score through the air, 2 shy of Brett Favre's record of 20. Now look, Tom Brady would never admit this, never come out there and say this at the podium, but all the talk all week long, and quite frankly, for the second half of this season, about Tim Tebow that guilty parties here at our employers, that I'm sure he loved going out and putting on a passing clinic tonight.
He did say it. He said it by showing us a bunch of teaching
action.
And what he did is he showed everybody teaching tape on executing the passing game, being a surgeon from the quarterback position. You look at this entire offense, and it was rolling up tempo and execution at a premium. The pass protection. Notice this on this tape. Everything you'll see, perfectly clean pockets. The routes that the receivers are running, they're getting open within the rhythm of the offense. Guys making plays, playing beyond the X's and O's like this catch by Gronkowski. And then Tom Brady straight dealing from the pocket. No extending the play, nothing magical, just reading his progressions, getting the ball to the right person at the right time in the weakness of the defense, and just torching the Denver Broncos, which, as he said in the press conference, had played the majority of very good defense late in the football season. This is teaching tape for all young quarterbacks to put on and say, this is how the position's played, Merrill.
Who's got a chance to beat the New England Patriots? I'm going to throw a guy out here, Wes Welker. Have we heard much about him today?
Just the 1 touchdown catch early on.
Very little, right? Okay, that just goes to show you what is the real issue with the New England Patriots. Who do you match up? Who do you double? You can only double, you can double 2 guys. that is it. They've got 3 guys that are major problems for any defense. And then if you cannot get pressure on Tom Brady, forget it. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. If you can't cover long enough, there's just no way. Even if you try to double guys, you can't do it. And with the bunch package you saw today, you eventually are going to give somebody up. You got Hernandez, you got Gronkowski, you got Wes Welker all together on one side. What you going to do? I mean, the Broncos, what they didn't do a good enough job today. They didn't get enough pressure. You know,
Right.
You know, Trent mentioned that very early.
Which is what they did in beating the Steelers. They got some key pressures on
teams that have beat
playoff.
them have been able to do that because there is no way. I don't care what defense, if it's the Ravens or the Texans, as good as they are, they do not match up. The only shot they have is you got to get pressure, and you got to get it with as minimum of people as possible consistently to beat this offense.
Wes Welker's numbers: 6 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Very pedestrian effort on his part, but they didn't
What
need
a
it
down night
because
for Wes
they had so
Welker.
many other options. As good a night as it was for Tom Brady and the Patriots, it was equally devastating for the Denver Broncos and Tim Tebow. Here's what Tim Tebow had to say after the loss.
Good evening.
Tim, what changes, if any, did you see from the Patriots defense from that first game to tonight?
Well, you know, they had a great scheme. They came out and they played well and they executed well, and you got to give them a lot of credit. Before we talk about that, I just want to, you know, thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and thank my teammates for the effort that they put forth, not only tonight but the entire season. And also want to thank the Broncos fans for all their support this season, and it definitely meant a lot.
London, like, you know, for you, you had such a spotlight on you and everything. You know, what's it been like positive thing?
Well, you know, I haven't worried too much about that. I think the cool part is just my relationship with my teammates, and you know, the run was a lot of fun and a lot of ups and downs. But you know, we really try to block everything on the outside off, and you know, just enjoy the relationships with teammates and coaches, and work and try to get better. And I feel like we did that all year. We just, you know, didn't put forth a good enough performance tonight, and you got to give them a lot of credit. That's a really good team.
What's it like to be up there with a guy like Tom Brady?
Well, it's exciting. I mean, it's a great honor to get a chance to play them in the second round of the playoffs, and he's a great quarterback, and he showed it tonight, and once again, and you know, Coach Belichick's a great coach, and they got a lot of great players on that team.
How was it difficult to get much going, especially offensively in the first half?
They did some good things, and you got to give them credit. They came out with a good scheme, and you know, we just weren't able to quite get it clicking tonight.
Why wouldn't you look at it clicking? Did they stunt more? Did they play more man?
They did some good things. They did some stunning up front and mixed up their coverages. You know, they played well, and you know, I'm just proud of my teammates for the effort that they played with all night, even when it wasn't going good.
What's this ride been like this year for you?
Well, a lot of ups and downs. Overall, it's been, you know, a very special opportunity for me, something I'm very thankful for, and very thankful I had the opportunity to, you know, build so many great relationships with teammates and coaches, and, you know, to be able to overcome a lot of different forms of adversity with my teammates, and, you know, to win some special games, and, you know, to have great memories of last week, and to be able to get in the playoffs. So there's a lot of things that we're proud of. Obviously, it's hard to see them all right now, though.
Well, listen, from where Tim Tebow started this season, basically third-string quarterback in Denver on the scrap heap, to becoming the starter, having that 6-game winning streak, and getting into the playoffs, even though they backed into it, and then winning a playoff game. This season has to be considered on some level a success for Tim Tebow, the player in the NFL. However, Merrill, once again, we saw a quarterback that had difficulty completing passes. 9 of 26 in this game.
Well, listen, I look at this offense as a fad. It's no different than when the Bears came out with that 46 defense. They dominated the National Football League. But as offenses started to chip away out of you, found, you know, you could run to the weak side. You could attack the strong side in the passing game. Then you look at the Wildcat a couple of years ago. What teams started to do? Blitz the A-gap, then do cat blitzes. Now you hardly ever see it. The New England Patriots, the second go-around, they actually done 2 things. The first time, they were the first team that they took the guy who was being pitched, and they just let him go. They hit Tim Tebow, they caused fumbles, and then the second go-around, they changed up. You know, they didn't do the wrinkle that they did in the first one. They made them read things, and they kept that in the backfield a much longer time. Here's the first matchup. Instead of letting him sit there and read, they just attacked. They hit Tim Tebow, they caused a fumble, they got a lot of hits on him, and actually they didn't use the option that much. It was more traditional runs they had success with. Well, tonight, what they did is they spread it out. They kept that pitch in the backfield. They kept Tim Tebow in the backfield, the running back. And the longer we string this along, the more guys we get to pursue. Guys to take care of Tim Tebow, guys to take care of the pitch, and other guys to swarm. We've seen this a couple of different times with teams that have seen him the second time, how they have went about when you look at the numbers. You know, Tim Tebow's numbers decline, his running game gets neutralized, which tells you the second go-around, it is an easier thing to handle because teams have seen it, they understand how to handle it. If you fast forward, what I'm trying to say is in the offseason, this is what defenses do. They look at this offense, they figure out how to handle it, they study it, they prepare for it, and the NFL is too fast and they are too smart for this to be successful consistently. So that means it comes down to what you do for the other part to complement that. You've got to throw the football. You mentioned the completion percentage. You have to be much better from that department to have a shot to even run a phases. The only team that actually really ran it with great success was the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
You know, they got, because they didn't win, they got forgotten, but they actually run wrinkles of it much better than the Denver Broncos.
Well, it leads to a bigger question going forward because John Fox and his staff did a great job of realizing, hey, if this is the guy, we're going to have to cater the offense to him, and it worked for a lot of crazy reasons at times for that 6-game winning streak. But, Trent, at some point, it does come down to be able to complete passes. I mean, we talk about Tim, and we're looking for him to complete 50% of his passes. For the season, he was below that. In the postseason, he's been well below that. Any other quarterback in the league that doesn't complete 60, there are questions about his accuracy. That's the gap we're talking about here, that at some point, the Broncos are going to have to figure out a way, if Tim Tebow is the solution going forward, for that to be more managed.
I think it's bigger than a completion percentage issue. I think you can take even the strongest Tebow apologist, and they would agree that there's 80 quarterbacks in the NFL. If you take starters, backups, and then third strings, he's the most limited passer of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, but doesn't mean he's the most limited quarterback. And when you look at the completion percentage, you also have to put it in context of the type of throws they're making. When this offense, the true version of the offense that Tim Tebow is trying to run right now in Denver, is going full cylinder, most of the plays are chunk throws. Typically, your percentage is going to be down. Now, not to this extreme. He can never survive being a 49, 50% passer. But if you go back to the 70s and early 80s, a lot of ball control offenses, their quarterbacks hovered in the 50, 52, 53% range. The bigger issue here is you can't be a spitball offense. What the Denver Broncos did this year was a spitball offense. They bounced in and out between traditional offense and this college spread that Tebow is comfortable with. If Tim Tebow's the quarterback, and we're going to discuss this all offseason, they have to go all in. You have to use all the wrinkles, all the nuances of this read option quarterback design running offense, because when you do that, it does become more multiple. You do have answers for the things Merrill said. I mean, I spent all week talking to high school, college coaches that major in this offense, that are experts in this, and they said there are so many more layers to this offense that the Broncos aren't using. So before we say it's a fad, Merrill, the only argument I have, and I think what you said is absolutely on point, that most likely the NFL will figure it out. But I think somebody, it should be the Denver Broncos, if Tim Tebow's a quarterback, needs to sell out to this offense, the same way you see it at Mississippi, at Florida under Urban Meyer and Dan Mullen, that teams have done it really well in college football.
Just let me throw two things that you got to worry about and that are cautions that are different in the NFL than college or high school. The number one is the field.
Yes,
okay?
the hash marks, no doubt.
In college and high school, they're wide, okay? You got more of a perimeter. When you're on one hash, you got a lot longer. You know, when we saw that highlight that I showed you, you know, you stretch it out, you stretch that option out. You're not getting north and south. More people are pursuing. Faster people are playing in the NFL. Smarter people are playing in the National Football League. And then it leads to the last one, which is really the most critical, physically.
Right.
Can you take those shots for 16 games if you get into the playoffs, 17, 18, year after year? No way.
Well, that's the biggest issue. And the first time the Broncos played the Patriots, that was the one thing the Patriots did. They didn't even look at the option. Yeah. They hit Tim Tebow, and that led to fumbles in that game, and it was a big problem for Tim Tebow and that Broncos offense going through that 3-game losing streak at the end of the season. Lots more on this game coming up on this edition of NFL Primetime, including just what sort of statement were the Patriots making, keeping their starters in the game up 35-10 until there was 3 minutes left in the contest, and what that means going forward for the New England Patriots. And oh, by the way, one of the greater games in postseason history was also played earlier today. Alex Smith, not just a game manager anymore.
NFL.
Continue here on NFL Primetime. Trey Wingo here with Merrill, Hoge, and Trent Dilfer. Man, what a game we had Saturday in San Francisco. The Niners back in the postseason for the first time since 2002. The Saints still trying to win their first ever playoff game on the road. They were so great at the Dome this year, 9-0, including the win over Detroit, but 0-4 all-time in franchise history outside of New Orleans. Jim Harbaugh, that's old quarterback on new quarterback crime. There's Drew Brees getting everybody fired up, but it was that San Francisco defense. Saints drove right down the field on their first possession, but on 3rd and 6, Pierre Thomas meet Dante Whitner. Ball out, and Pierre Thomas done for the night. A perfectly timed hit.
You talk about helmet-helmet contact, roughing your quarterback, or your running back. Should have been a flag. I'm just kidding. But I'm going to tell you this. Pierre Thomas was knocked out right then in midair.
Absolute tone setter for the game by Dante Whitner.
And then on the next drive, Alex Smith, a great throw to Vernon Davis. And look, we have a tight end doing something. Unbelievable, 49 yards for the score, and then a little homage to Jimmy Graham for the dunk at 7-0. All right, just 7 points. The Saints fell behind to the Lions, no problem. So they came back from that one. And then this happens. Colston, who also had a huge hit on Marcus Colston earlier this game, picks it off and takes it all the way down to the Saints 5. Trent, this was a great job of Colston just reading the quarterback.
Making Drew Brees play after the snap. He doesn't show his mail. He gets to the hole, which is the middle of the field, but he does it from opposite Drew Brees' eyes. So Drew never sees him come over there. Gets to the ball first, makes the big play. Great disguise by Colston.
First interception for Brees in his last 227 postseason attempts. And there's Michael Crabtree to make it 14-0. And trust me, that was the end of the positive contributions of the day for Michael Crabtree. Had a couple of big drops late in the drive that really hurt San Francisco. However, it's 17-0, no problem. Jimmy Graham over the middle. Now, he got hurt on the first drive. Looked a little slow and dinged here. Couldn't jump there, but gets the touchdown. Okay? So now it's 17-7, and you want to talk about a throw to Colston for the touchdown. I believe, Trent, you have a name for this.
Yeah, we call this the Primetime Dime, and this is such a special show. This is the first of 2 in this show, but this was so good. I mean, no defense for a perfect throw. And then Colston getting his feet in and crossing the goal, and that was beautiful.
17-14. I think he's taunting you by saying there's 2 primetime dimes. There were all kinds of turnover problems for the Saints, 5 of them in the game. Here's another one. Darren Sproles on the punt. The 49ers recover. Blake Costanzo knocks it loose. Colin Jones recovers it. That led to a field goal. Niners up 20-14.
That ball was actually coming out before he got hit.
Absolutely.
Got to have that ball high and tight, kids.
Fourth quarter, 20-17. I want you to take another look at that bull rush by Justin Smith. That's Jermon Bushrod. He's just pushing around. Are you kidding me?
Reach around one hand and pull Drew Brees down.
Unbelievable. Now, Frank Gore, up to this point, only had 11 carries. They finally got him going in the fourth quarter, and it pays off big. Picks up 42 yards, but again, a field goal, making it a 6-point game, 23-17, and you just got that feeling you're not going to slow down Drew Brees for the entire game. And there's the completion right there to Devery Henderson for a first down. Jim Harbaugh saying we really needed touchdowns because this is going to happen. The most sudden athlete maybe in the game, Trent, Darren Sproles, 44 yards.
Sudden, quick, and fast, gets open in space, makes people miss, and Drew Brees just loves getting him the ball.
So that gave them the lead. First lead of the game, 24-23. Alex Smith, oh, yes, he can. Another great throw to Vernon Davis for a gain of 37.
Could this be?
Could have been.
Could have been.
We should have done, no, we should have done 3.
We didn't want you to make you feel bad if we gave him 3. That would have been bad.
Why, the biggest play of the day.
Right
now.
3rd and 7. We all called it. Student body left for Alex Smith for a score, right?
That's right. And this is why I call it just the big-time seal of approval, because you have a seal here and what we would call a sideline over there. That was
Watch Joe Staley.
Right.
Watch Joe Staley here.
Moving down the field, digging out the safety, and giving us a canali for a touchdown.
A canali.
29-24. They went for a 2-point conversion, didn't get it. But did they leave too much time on the clock for Drew Brees? Survey says yes. Marcus Colston on 2nd and 10 picks up a first down. If we only had another dynamic play from a tight end. Oh, wait, we do. Jimmy Graham in that back feeling better because he's going to get the stiff arm and he's going to get the dunk on this one.
And what's the difference here? 6'6".
I mean, that's great coverage by Patrick Willis.
A wingspan of about 7 feet. I mean, that's your difference because you got to cover everywhere else.
Ridiculous.
On the ground level, that is.
And there's the dunk. Yeah, apparently feeling a lot better.
Jimmy back feel better.
Jimmy liked to dunk. Saints up 30-29. They convert the two-pointer, so it's 32-29. Alex Smith has less than a minute. There's no way. There's no way. There's a way. Vernon Davis, the tight end, will take you there. That play was so big, we're not even thinking about a field goal anymore. We're in touchdown range, and with 14 seconds left, pull the trigger! Alex Smith to Vernon Davis. Oh, memories of Steve Young to Terrell Owens all those years ago. What a throw.
And that's why it is the big primetime dime, because it's a game winner. It is a signature moment for this cat right here, Alex Smith. Look at him threaded in there. There's actually 3 defenders he gets that through. What a great play and a huge moment, the biggest of his career.
That technically trumps the first primetime.
Exactly.
And just like T.O. all those years ago, remember Vernon Davis being booted off the field by Mike Singletary? I want winners. Guess what? Vernon Davis, a big part of a huge win for the San Francisco 49ers, 36-32. Brees, phenomenal. 462 yards, 4 touchdowns, but the turnovers really got them behind the 8 ball, and they could never fully recover. Alex Smith, a yard shy of 300, a record-setting performance by Vernon Davis, the 180 receiving yards, the most ever for a tight end in postseason history, including the 2nd touchdown that puts the 49ers in the NFC Championship game.
Well, just really proud of our team. They say you're going to live or die in these games. We live. We move on, and we move on in spectacular fashion. And really proud of our football team. I know there was the catch. I don't know what you're going to call this one. The throw, the throw and catch. But it was a great play by Vernon Davis and Alex Smith.
Really happy for Vernon. You know, he, even at halftime, got in here in halftime and got a little emotional with us on offense and got after us a little bit and great to see him come out. And when there in the second half, really to stay patient, just for Vernon, just to stay patient. The whole third quarter, not much happening for us on offense, even in the start of the fourth. And then really, 3 or 4 times he got one-on-one and he made the play every single time.
I knew it was coming. We rehearsed it all week in practice. Alex knew right away that once I got to 12 to 14 yards, I would plant my outside foot and look for the ball. Same exact thing, and it worked. I just had confidence in myself. I had confidence in Alex and confidence in the play, pretty much.
Vernon sharply dressed there. For those of you that didn't know, that was Alex.
Yeah.
He wore his name on his shirt, Trent.
I'll explain.
Okay. By the way, Alex Smith tied a career high with 3 touchdown passes. Hi, my name is Alex. It was the 2nd time this year in which he threw 3 TDs in a game, but with no interceptions and a rushing touchdown, he becomes just the 5th player in NFL postseason history to have those stats: 3 passes, no picks, and a rushing touchdown. On that list, another 49er quarterback goes by the name of Joe Montana. Back to the shirt name. You got a story there?
It's perfect. Yeah. You know why? Because the forgotten man in the NFC this year was Alex Smith. Everybody's putting up these video game numbers in the passing game in the NFL right now, and there's a cat out in San Francisco named Alex Smith that wins 13 games, that plays great football, that every time his team needed him to throw the ball to victory, he did it this year. The Eagles, the Giants, all these other games, when he was asked to do it, he did it. It's ironic he wears his name tag on his shirt after the biggest win of his life, almost saying, hey, do you know who I am now? Because if you watch this game and you're watching a future Hall of Famer in Drew Brees, here comes Alex in the 4th quarter, matches him blow for blow. But he started early. This is the first touchdown of the game. You talk about a perfect throw. There it is to Vernon Davis. Because the throw is so accurate, it allows Vernon Davis to continue on his angle, break the tackles. How about this? He audibles. This is a line of scrimmage mastery. He sees a casino look in the background. That's an all-out blitz. He directs traffic to the line of scrimmage and gets to the play that's going to score him the touchdown. He did the same thing against the Detroit Lions. for their game winner in that game, and then the big run. If Tim Tebow makes this run this week, we're going to do an hour special about it. 3rd and 7, he goes down the left boundary, he scores. As good a play you'll see a quarterback make in the run game, and then the game-winning drive right here. You want to talk about location? You want to talk about throwing a receiver open? Vernon Davis gets all those yards after catch because it's a perfect throw, and then the game winner. Now, you got to understand, they could easily decide to kick a field goal here. You want to talk about decisive, pull the trigger, threading the needle? I want you to see this right here. Look what he sees when he throws it right now. That ball's coming out. There's a linebacker inside, there's a safety over the top, and there's another linebacker inside.
And what's that called? Anticipation.
Anticipation, one, ball speed, location, every element of great quarterbacking in one play in the biggest moment. And there are quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame that would not have pulled the trigger right there, would have played it safer and kicked the field goal and going to overtime. The signature moment for Alex Smith, and the 49ers should be thanking themselves right now that he chose to re-sign and play quarterback for this team.
You know what's really interesting? You used the term or the word forgotten for Alex Smith. You could use that word for Vernon Davis.
Absolutely.
You thought about the best tight ends in football and the guys that have gotten the highlights. You'd go start with the Saints, and you go over to Green Bay, and then we just got done doing the New England Patriots. All those guys warranted. But Vernon Davis has been the forgotten guy as far as tight ends go. Maybe the most underrated tight end in all of football. And he created so many matches for the 49ers in this game. Saints wanted to play pressure, man-to-man, late in the game, and they paid the price. When they backed up, you just saw Trent's touchdown there, the ability, and you heard the press conference, the trust in him. But this play right here, I'm seeing this on tape, and watching the game, seeing that emotion. That's what sports are all about, is that, you know, Vernon Davis comes in as a young player. Yes, he should be a professional football player the second year drafted. Sometimes you have to learn. You have to be accountable for those things. There is nobody that I have studied and watched that has developed more as a tight end and better as a tight end, who was very raw and green when he came into the National Football League, but also a professional. To see a guy win and grow in those fashions right before our eyes in a big-time game like that, that's what sports are about. That's what I love about the National Football League, to see a guy like Vernon Davis, a guy like Alex Smith. People stay with them, they trust him, they teach him. They're receptive enough to that teaching. They're accountable enough to make the changes accordingly, and they become amazing players and great people. And to watch them perform like that in that element, in that game, just fabulous.
Look, as good as he's been the last 2 years playing for the 49ers, his signature moment before tonight was when Mike Singletary kicked him off the field and took him out of there and said, I want winners. And now he's got another signature moment, that game-winning touchdown catch against the New Orleans Saints. And we mentioned the 1998 wild card game against the Green Bay Packers. Let's just go to a flashback to show you the similarities. January 3rd, 1999, our own Steve Young against Green Bay, a little farther away, right over the middle, into traffic, and bang, Terrell Owens comes up with the big catch, hangs onto it. That, for many years, was the signature moment for T.O., and then, of course, for a variety of reasons, there were other signature moments for Terrell Owens. But there is a play, there is something in common that play has with this. The play from Smith to Davis is just the 4th time in NFL playoff history in which a team scored a touchdown with less than 10 seconds left in regulation to take the lead when they were trailing. Not when they were tied, when they were trailing. And the San Francisco 49ers at the stick have done it twice. The other, of course, the Music City Miracle with Kevin Dyson, the 1999 wild card game as well, or the 1999 wild card, and then the immaculate reception, Terry Bradshaw to Franco Harris to take down the Raiders. Wow. Meanwhile, when we continue, it wasn't a record-setting game per se, but a record-setting performance from Tom Brady. We'll hear from one of his favorite targets coming up on Primetime. Well, it was a TKO in terms of the quarterback battle between Tim Tebow and Tom Brady, and it was due in a large part to Brady finding his tight ends. Rob Gronkowski had 3 of Tom Brady's 6 touchdown passes, also 10 catches for 145 yards, but Brady was an equal opportunity tight end thrower. Here, the 6th and final one to Aaron Hernandez. It was a 45-10 beatdown. 10 catches for Rob Gronkowski. Our Wendy Nix caught Gronk after the game.
Rob, the Patriots dominated this game offensively, really from the outset. Why?
Everyone just playing well. Everyone doing their own job. The offensive line, that's where it starts with. And they were protecting for Tom well. We were run blocking well, too, and getting open holes for the running backs. And the O-line did a great job, and that's where it starts from to make plays.
This offense right now, a well-oiled machine, and you're a critical part. What's that like?
It's a lot of fun being here. It's just a lot of hard work, working hard every week, and just being part of these guys, playing with all these great players here and everything. It's awesome, and obviously we got the win tonight, and we hang out tonight, have a good time, celebrate the win. But when whoever wins tomorrow, then that comes back to work time, and we got to get ready.
For the past 2 postseasons, you came up short finally. This year, you get the win. What did Bill Belichick say after this game?
I mean, obviously we put everything in the past, and we just look forward to the future. And it was just a good win, good overall team win. The defense played well, the offense was clicking. We were playing complementary football, and which is awesome to do. And we just got to move on now to the next week. Make sure we get some good practice weeks in, and it's a 1-game season, so this is a huge game again.
You get to celebrate this one for just a minute, though, yeah?
Yeah, just like a minute. So, I mean, it's 11:54 right now. We're in 6 more minutes. This is the next day, and we're probably already on to the next team, next game.
Rob, congratulations. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Rob Gronkowski going to be home for the AFC Championship game. Coming up next, who may be joining the Niners in the NFC Championship game?
NFL Primetime is streaming live on your computer, tablet, or smartphone via watchespn.com and the Watch
Playoff. These two teams met in New Jersey Week 13. Packers won 38-35. Giants have allowed a total of 30 points over their last 3 games. Here's the problem, Trent, for the Giants. It's one thing to have the perfect defense for Aaron Rodgers. It's another thing to actually stop him with that perfect defense.
You nailed it. I mean, in the year of the quarterback, we're seeing some of the greatest quarterbacking in the history of the NFL, especially by Aaron Rodgers. What makes it so great is he's playing beyond the X's and O's. What I mean by that is the defense can play perfectly from a tactical standpoint, and this dude can still beat you. When you go back to the Giants, the first matchup, this is exactly what happened. The Giants had a great plan. The Giants played good defense, especially up front. Right here, the Giants, 3 defensive linemen beating their guy, forcing Aaron Rodgers to be flat-footed and step back into his throw. But look at anticipation. He releases the ball before Greg Jennings is out of the route. He tempos the ball. It means take something off of it for accuracy to score a touchdown. Giants won tactics. Packers won the play. Right here on the game-winning drive. Justin Tuck, JPP, again, destroy their guys. Should get a hit on Aaron Rodgers. Jordy Nelson's covered now, right? But yes. Aaron Rodgers, the quick release, the dime down the boundary, throwing them open. Guys, I went back and I charted this game against the Giants, and I counted 15 plays where the Giants won the tactics, especially up front, where they have free runners on Aaron Rodgers or they're winning by a coverage standpoint. In those 15 plays, Aaron Rodgers, 232 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6 third-down conversions. The dude is just playing away. Nobody else can play.
Very similar to the way he played in the divisional round last year against the Atlanta Falcons. They had the schemes, but they just couldn't bring him down. And Merrill, it was during that playoff run, Super Bowl championship a year ago, where we really saw Aaron Rodgers elevate his play to a different level. And you've seen that out of Eli Manning this year.
I think Eli Manning is the most improved football player that we have seen all year. When you look at how his mobility has gotten better within the pocket, his ability to work defenses with his eyes and his shoulders and manipulate them, just the development and the growth there has been most impressive. The things that he did in the first matchup, too, you could argue he just ran out of time in that last one. But the safety works back to the middle. Now watch his eyes and his shoulders and his body. Bring the safety back over to that side. Now that creates all of that space and his ability to make this throw down the seam in this game. And then here's another aspect of it. You got Victor Cruz on Pepper, the safety. That is not a matchup you like if you're the Packers. However, with Woodson getting pressure like this, it's a good matchup. However, Woodson doesn't finish because of Manning's ability to manipulate and move the pocket. See, if Woodson gets there early on, Pepper's got him. Cruz doesn't win. But because he doesn't, and Manning has that mobility, moves outside the pocket, keeps his eyes down the field, he's able to make that throw and get a first down for the Giants. The constant development and growth of Eli Manning. Now, you would think, I think it's his 8th year, you would think that he wouldn't, can he really get any better? This guy has gotten better. I mean, significantly better. Very scary to the elite status where you start saying Rodgers and Eli, Brady and Eli, Roethlisberger and Eli. I mean, Eli is improved to that level.
Well, he's certainly got a bunch of wide receivers that can win for him. Victor Cruz. This is a lot of people comparing it to 2007. There are a lot of things that this Giants team does better than that 2007 team that won the Super Bowl, and Eli, 4,933 yards. Any other year, people be raving about that. We had some 5,000 guys. We're not talking about 49-33. Meanwhile, what to make of the showdown between the Texans and the Ravens? That's ahead on Primetime.
Tomorrow, Sun Spurs, and Monday.
Week 6 this year. The Ravens are hosting a playoff time for the first time since '06, haven't won a home playoff game since 2000. And Merrill, it seems that it would be imperative for the Ravens offensive coaching staff, including offensive coordinator Cam Cameron, to not forget about Ray Rice, because they've done that a couple of times this year, and it's cost them.
And they haven't as of late, and really they didn't against the Houston Texans. It just takes a long time to kind of break this Texan defense down because it is so good up front. You know, their inside linebackers were outstanding. They were violent at the line of scrimmage. They blew up a lot of things. But the Ravens made some adjustments to attack that style. They did a great job in the running game, and they even did some stuff in the passing game late. Let's go with the passing game first. You're on a seam route and an out route against this quarter coverage. Well, if you get Dixon on the out route, that pulls the safety and holds him. Now you have Smith down the seam. That's how they were able to attack in the passing game. I mentioned the linebackers. There's Cushing, violent at the line of scrimmage. You also have Ryans that's sitting there. And Vontae Leach, what a great job of being the runner, having eyes, pressing the whole two, and then digging the linebacker out. And then, just like Trey said, you give the ball to Ray Rice, and their runs that were downhill. When they started to run laterally, they weren't as successful, but they went downhill at the Texans, right at them. They had more success. They eventually got those big chunks right there by those type of runs, which I would expect them to try to do those type of things in this next matchup.
Yeah, as for the Texans, you know, the Ravens defense is great, and nobody knows good Ravens defense better than you, Trent Dilfer. But we've seen them give up the big play a couple of times this year, and T.J. Yates is going to have his shots with Andre Johnson.
Yeah, if you look at playoff football, everybody talks about running the football, and I agree. You have to have balance in the playoffs. But against a Baltimore Ravens team, you're going to have to run the ball so that you can set up the big pass play, because that's really the best way to score points on the Baltimore Ravens. If you go back to the games this season, you can see that the Ravens have given up some big plays in the passing game. Matt Hasselbeck torched them down the boundary. Receivers able to get on top of the secondary all day long, getting the big pass play, flipping the field, and then ultimately turning it into points. Even in the first matchup against the Houston Texans, Matt Schaub, this Houston Texans offense designed some shot plays, got Ed Reed out of the middle of the football field. Now you can go up top and hit these plays. This is what T.J. Yates is going to have to do, and he proved against the Cincinnati Bengals he could. This is going to be key right here, his eyes, his ability to hold the safety, because Ed Reed is not going to let you down the sideline if you stare at it. You can double move the Ravens corners like Andre Johnson does here to Cincinnati Bengals, but ultimately for T.J. Yates and this Houston Texans offense to score enough points to beat the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to have few of these big plays, and they're going to have to convert them to touchdowns.
As you guys watch the Sunday divisional games, just keep this in mind. So far in this postseason, home teams are 6-0. In the current playoff format, which goes back to 1990, we have never had the home teams go 8-0 in the first two rounds of the postseason.
It's going down, Merrill.
Green Bay and Baltimore have been put on notice when we continue here on NFL Primetime. Who's hungry? Who was the very best of an unbelievable Saturday? Here's Trent. Who was most hungry?
Well, Alex Smith was so starving he ate the heart of the New Orleans Saints, especially in the fourth quarter, where it went 9 of 13 for $140 and a touchdown, the game winner.
Merrill?
Not sure this guy has ever been this hungry or ever got the award, but let's say Tom Brady, 6 touchdowns. Why didn't he get 7? They kept him in there. Why not?
Well, those are both fine choices. They're also incorrect choices. Because you have to think big picture.
Wrong.
Not just Gronk. I'm going with the tight end.
It's a lot of belly to feed.
The position of the tight end, whether it's Graham, Davis, Gronkowski, Hernandez. Take a look. 3 tight ends, Rob Gronkowski, Vernon Davis, and Jimmy Graham.
Wow.
Jimmy Light. Each had at least 100 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in Saturday's divisional round. Prior to Saturday, the last tight end to do that was Keith Jackson. Hernandez over 100 yards from scrimmage. Oh, by the way, the Broncos tight ends, no catches, no yards. We're coming right back.
Who's Hungry is brought to you by Snickers, who reminds you to play hungry, but not literally hungry. And watch the film The Man Who Played Literally Hungry at NFL.com/Snickers.
I'm in a timeout because apparently riding the dog like it's a small horse is frowned upon in this establishment. Luckily, though, I can conceal this bad boy underneath my blanket just so I can get on E-Trade, check my investment portfolio, research stocks. Wait, why are you taking... Oh, I see. solitary. Just a man and his thoughts and a smartphone with an E-Trade app. Nobody knows.
E-Trade, investing unleashed.
The old standby, the bare minimum, the game changer. Take it to the house with Taco Bell's Taco 12-pack. 12 classic crunchy tacos boxed up and ready for game day.
Pretty good day, right?
Awesome.
Pretty good day. They always say divisional round may be the best weekend of the entire season. Saturday.
Whoever they are,
disappointing.
they're right.
They are correct. Thanks for watching Primetime. See you.